SESI, uma iniciativa da CNI, Confederação Nacional da Indústria, apresenta...
Many people in the world understand the word Silicon Valley, and it has become known for the place that has invented the microchip and the modern computer and the software industry that has transformed the world over the last 20 or 30 years. What many people don't realize is that Silicon Valley is not one small little community. It's a pretty broad area that now encompasses most of the Bay Area. And in that Bay Area, you have everything from the headquarters of Apple or the headquarters of Oracle, where this school sits, to very low-income, challenged communities with poverty, crime, and a lack of opportunity. So we are hoping that the energy of Silicon Valley, the creativity, and the great wealth that has been created in these communities can be channeled and directed to helping our schools, so that every school in the Bay Area, and then hopefully every school in the country, and then eventually across the world, can be inspired by some of these very exciting new models that also can be a laboratory of innovation. The school that we are in today, Design Tech High School, is a perfect example of doing the best of what we know about from traditional education with new and more interesting ways to better meet the needs of every child. And I thought technology would play a role in the transformation, but I didn't believe it was some magic solution that would suddenly change schools. I don't think we are one software program away from building the school of the future. I think the school of the future will still have great teachers. It will still be very much about human-to-human contact. But it would be a shame if in the year 2018, we were still running our schools exactly like we ran them in 1958 or in 1908. So we are excited about what happens when you take terrific educators, give them a little more freedom, and encourage them to be creative and problem-solving in using technology to change 10% or 20% or 30% of what a student does during the day.
Essa escola tem uma diferença grande, porque as escolas americanas são tudo certinhas e aqui é totalmente diferente. Aqui a gente é mais solto, tem mais liberdade para fazer quando a gente quer, o que a gente quiser fazer.
I think it's really cool. They give you a lot of neat opportunities that regular schools wouldn't give you, and they help us a lot with our homework, and it's a lot more laid back.
A meta da escola é fazer o mundo ficar melhor e os estudantes da escola são os que fazem isso acontecer.
I really like that we have a multitude of opportunities, both from giving me technical skills as well as soft skills, like emotional skills, whereas regular schools you don't really get that knowledge, but here you learn empathy, you learn how to talk to people, you learn how to relate, and I think that's, above all, is the most important thing we learn here.
The reason I started Design Tech High School is because one day I saw one of my former students on the cover of Time magazine. But then I also thought, well, this student that was part of this speech and debate team that I started, but there were a lot of other really good kids on that team, so I wonder what they were up to. And so I started reaching out to those 15 kids, and they just had these amazing outcomes. So I asked these kids, well, what is it? You know, speech and debate's a great program, but it's not magic. Why is it that you're all doing such amazing things in your life? And they all said it was that act of creation, the fact that they came as 9th graders and created something. It just created this mindset, well, that's how the world works. You don't just passively receive it, you actively design it. And it just made me step back and think, well, that's what schools should be focused on. It's not just about the next 4 years, it's about the next 40 years for these kids. And so if we teach them design thinking, that gives them the mindset and the creative confidence that they can go out and create something and a process for solving problems that they might encounter. So when those things all kind of came together, that's when I thought, you know, we should start a school that really focuses on teaching kids design thinking and really has design thinking at the heart of what it's trying to do. Everything we're trying to accomplish is this belief that every student has the potential to do something that's inside of them. If that potential is not coming out, then the system needs redesigned. If you are working in a school with the mindset of all those students that are in front of you, your primary job is to unlock their potential, then you're gonna end up trying some really innovative things to get to that. So Silicon Schools Fund, they were one of our first supporters, and so their vision was that they wanted to make the Bay Area the go-to place if you wanted to learn about blended personalized learning. So they helped support schools getting started that had a focus on that. Right now, we just moved into a brand new building on the Oracle corporate headquarters campus, and so we're the first public high school to be located on a technology corporate campus like this. And so we have Oracle headquarters just right across the street. The piece of property that we're located on is kind of a unique piece of property, and it's almost like an airport terminal where it would just be long, you'd walk down it, there'd be classrooms on each side of it. So the building was designed with a curve in it, just to take away that feel. And then we put all the classrooms on one side, and then the other side is the California corridor, and that's where students work more independently, that's where we have the soft seating. And then we broke the school up into neighborhoods, because even though we have 550 students, we still wanted to keep a smaller feel. So we have different colors for our neighborhoods: orange, yellow, blue, and green. We do everything in this building with the intention that the students are curating the space. So that's why you see in the design of this building, there are breakout spaces for kids, there's places for casual supervision so that we can see what's going on, but the idea that the students should be working there in a self-directed way. So everything in this building is designed to nudge towards that self-direction. So design thinking is a human-centered problem-solving approach. What that means is that as you're trying to solve a problem, you're always thinking of the person on the other end and what their needs are throughout the entire design process. And that's where it goes back to our mission of building the students this sense of self-efficacy and optimism. Design thinking gives the students this confidence that when I face the unknown, I have a toolkit to solve a problem. So our students need to have this mindset, this skill set that whatever the future holds is going to be unpredictable, and things are going to change quickly, but they can thrive in that environment.
Design thinking is a way of creating something new by really connecting with other humans. and then, using that as inspiration. If you go deep enough into understanding another person, you'll find something in there that is inspiring you to want to do something for them. And then, it's all about the brainstorming and the building and trying stuff out and being willing to fail, at that and get feedback and realize it's not good and willing to change your mind and keep working on it. That, for me, is design thinking. When you come to meet for your one-on-one, bring your computer with your dashboard up when you come to meet in so we can check that, okay?
I need to do this essay. That's like the thing.
That's your big thing right now,
That's my big thing right now.
Okay.
I have like this much written, which is like 1.5 pages. I need 5. And
Okay, so this is supposed to be pretty in-depth.
yeah, very.
Okay.
And I have the plot analysis, which would analysis of narrative structure, sorry. That should take up a good amount of space. And then I really look forward to doing actually
The characterization.
yeah, these stuff. So
These are fun.
yeah, I should be fine for this.
Okay. I don't think there is a single profile, but I think the kids who sort of do the best here or really thrive here are the ones who want to have a lot of control or a lot of say. They really want to drive their learning experience more. They take advantage of all the opportunities here. I'm going to use my free time to work on this project. I'm going to connect with this person I met during intersession who's going to be my mentor. I'm going to get an internship. There are students who come in, they're not used to that. They're not used to having a say. They're not used to driving the learning for themselves. It can take a little while for them to feel the sense of urgency or the sense of agency, I guess is what I mean. And it's kind of something they have to learn, to be responsible for your own sort of path and your own learning.
Does anybody have any ideas or other suggestions as to how we could improve the class?
Right now, we're just looking into what Jibo can do
and what its main functional features are.
Right now, we don't have any AI connected to it, but we have it connected to a service called Ifttt. And it can be used to activate several triggers. Like, for example, when you take a picture, it sends a notification to your phone. Hey, Jibo, take a picture.
Smile as big as you can. 3, 2, 1.
Once the picture's uploaded, it'll actually send me a notification to my phone. It says that the photo has been added to the library, and you could actually view all the photos in the library and see. You can basically collect papers without even having to have the physical item in your hand.
So if teachers are able to use Jibo to turn in the, to grade the homework, then teachers would have a much easier time in the future using PowerSchool.
It's more a matter of what kind of homework you have. Like, we're still kind of in that area where we still have homework that's like, what is this? And memorize the number of ions in this compound. And maybe in the future with AI, we can redefine what it means to learn. Instead of being like that, we can have it more about how much you understand and take away from it. And that would be a lot more personalized. And that is probably not something, at least right now, we can do with AI. But there are definitely, as we work towards the future, before we get to a point where we can do that, we are going to start seeing people just submitting things via AI and not actually doing stuff.
At Design Tech High School, we help prepare students for their lives after DTech through a variety of different ways. And one way is through our intercession program. In the morning, our students take a design thinking curriculum, and this encompasses actually their whole 4 years at Design Tech High School for their intercession program. And then in the afternoon, they take a wide variety of electives that are taught by industry partners. And I think it really gives students, it helps them connect with their learning in math and English and history to what is actually going on in the real world, and where people who have similar interests as the students are actually working in industry.
Focus about here first, and then come through that up to her. But I want you to focus all the way through. So you got her there, I want you here, okay? with my photography class, we go through the whole learning about cameras and learning about lighting, and like right now we're in the session of doing portraits. We go out to the public and we interview people and we talk to them and we give them a little bit of who we are, and then we get to hear of who they are. And with design thinking, it works perfectly because we can take that information and be able to go out there to the public, rethink another way of how we can interview someone else. With that information, the kids can learn so much more, not just about design thinking, but about portraitures or photography in general. It gives them a little bit more of emotion. It gives them a little bit more of an insight of who that person is, who they're dealing with.
Let's talk about this.
All right.
So I got a couple pictures again for my project. I think that this picture right here speaks for itself. Like, you know, they love each other. And you can see like their state of how they are. You know, you have like half the cart right here and then another half right here. You know, just the way that they're dressing and stuff like that just like talks about themselves, you know what I mean?
You could have gotten a better shot though, because we have like parts of her body missing.
I guess one thing I would do differently is just like cut it so it doesn't...
Put that part?
Yeah, it doesn't take so much space in the picture.
I feel like showing more of the body of the person.
Yeah, that would have been a good part too. A gente fez entrevistas com moradores de rua que estavam lá em São Francisco e a gente praticamente perguntava a eles como é que é a vida aqui. O nome do projeto, no meio assim, que chamava Help, ou Ajude. Foi um dos melhores projetos que eu já fiz aqui na escola, chamou muita atenção e a gente fez a nossa professora chorar. Eu acho que foi uma das melhores experiências que eu já tive nessa escola.
See, this is what I want. If you can go closer, see how she's a little bit blurry? Okay? So focus, put that on the focus point next time. And then you got her focused, and then the rest of it will be all blurry. Dealing with kids who didn't have an opportunity with photography, to not just give them that aspect of it, just give them also a portion of like how life is in general. We don't just talk about photography, we talk about everything. And when we give them a chance to just be out there in life, I mean, like we take the train, we take the BART, we go out there in the public, we photograph people, we photograph what's out in nature. You know, with me being here for 4 years, every year my class has gotten bigger. So now I probably have the biggest class of 35 students.
So then I'll take like different group pictures.
But not everyone's here.
That's fine. So if you guys could like sit down around them and then just like talk and be cool.
That's gonna be hard to do.
Eu me sinto muito preparada, porque quando eu cheguei na escola, eu sempre ficava no cantinho, desenhando, fazendo alguma coisa. Mas aí depois eu consegui entrar numa classe de public speaking. E aí depois eu fui falando com gente e tal. Tenho mais essa ansiedade de falar com alguém. O que eu acho que é mais diferente aqui é a atenção que os professores dão para você. Não é só uma coisa que você entra na sala de aula, você senta, você escuta eles falando, eles te dão um negócio para poder copiar no seu caderno e depois você sai. A gente tem uma conversa, eles não deixam você para trás, entendeu?
What else did you change from the original prototype?
In the original prototype, these two motors were further out, so they weren't in the middle. They were on these opposite sides as well. And that kind of changed the distribution of the weight.
But the biggest problem we seem to have as far as the intake is the weight of it. So when the cube is in here and it's all the way up to the top, it is really very unstable, right? So one of the ways you could do that is if we could reduce the weight of this.
And that was an issue with the 1/4 inch, right? It's
yeah,
thick.
and so we
really
could make a
that.
thinner piece here. The other thing we could do is change the material, right?
Oh, right, yeah. I definitely experienced some sort of culture shock starting here. It was a really weird experience going from somewhere that had a really rigid structure of one assignment to the next. It was due on one day. You could only do these things, to going to a place where that was a lot more flexible, and you could talk with your teachers and they could work around your schedule, and they'd be a lot more generous when it came to how you would approach learning.
One of the rules about the game was that on loading the cube into certain parts, in order to load the cube without scoring a foul, part of the robot had to actually be over the switch where you had to load the cube in.
Right.
And so a lot of teams, including us, we added this on there so that these
Yeah, I remember we saw this
deploy,
at, I think, one of our regionals, and then at our next regional we added. Me and my friends participate in something that's called First Robotics. And yeah, each year we build a robot based on the competition. This year's was, there would be 3 kind of levers on the field. There would be two short ones and 1 tall one in the middle. And you had to build a robot that can kind of approach that challenge and place cubes which would give you points on those levers. So. I think design thinking is when you have a user in mind and you're designing a product for them, for that user. You're not designing it from what you want, you're designing it from wholly what they want. And at Design Tech High School, it's in the name design, we focus a lot on that.
But the idea is that students have a place, the name of it is Design Realization Garage. So it is a place where they have access to tools, they're able to take their idea that's maybe a concept, a prototype, and actually iterate on that prototype and continue to make it better and improve on their design idea. And sometimes it's just a place where they can actually just learn to do the thing they want to do. And it's like challenge themselves to then achieve that goal.
That to me looks kind of like one of our talents.
Well, that's just a power distribution block. That's the controller right there. So it's just like a metal box. I mean,
yeah, but if you look at that, it's going.
All right, I mean, I'm gonna let you guys make the call.
Plus, if we use this one, we get keys.
Yeah. Ooh, I kind of want keys. Yeah. I honestly think we're leaning towards this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is what will make it interesting is we'll have this one if the other team orders that cheaper one, and then we'll have a comparison.
Yeah.
And then if they're equivalent, then if for future project, they have a tighter budget. They're under they're $500. Yeah. What I try to do in engineering is grade process more than like the actual thing that gets built. Is like, did you identify your criteria constraints? Did you follow those? Did you collaborate well with your teammates? Did you overcome obstacles? How did you problem solve? What workflow did you use? Did you plan properly? Like those process points, try to assess those periodically throughout the semester while they're working on their projects.
So I came to DTech and I expected something completely different. I thought it was going to be completely technology centered and that creativity wouldn't be appreciated as much, but I was actually entirely wrong. It did take me about a year to realize that. I learned that at DTech, even though there is more of a technology focus, if you want to do something or you want to contribute something to the culture or the education of the school, then as long as you just go for it, you can add your own sort of thing to your education here. Wouldn't you like to immediately know if someone was trying to steal from you or if they had even tried to unzip your bag? Well, our mayor is the solution. Don't sacrifice style for security. So this is how it works. Basically, there's an in-bag security that's paired with a wearable device, such as a smart ring or another smartwatch. So how it works is the wearable device has an RFID chip in it that has a unique RFID ID, and inside the bag there's an RFID reader. So all the user has to do is swipe the RFID reader close to the bag and all the alarms in the bag will be disabled. However, if someone else besides the user or anybody else who has accepted RFID codes tries to open the bag, as soon as the zipper opens even a little bit, an audible alarm inside the bag will be triggered, hopefully scaring off the thief, as well as a vibrating motor on the wearable.
How long have you been working on this project?
I took the wearable technology class that we came up with this project for at the end of my sophomore year, and we worked on it a little bit in the summer to get ready for open world, and we've been working on it since.
Do you have any concerns about like the bag getting hacked? Like, is that a possibility that could happen?
We're hoping that because we kept it pretty simple,
that there aren't too many like backdoors in, because it's really about the unique RFID identification. At DTech, the whole staff and just the entire environment really supports each student in helping them develop their creative confidence and being confident that they can bring something to a group just because of all the experiences we've had here, even just like working with internships or having opportunities like I have had with creating something. I think that's gonna really help me in the future just because I'm gonna be able to be confident that I can, you know, understand the user and bring something to a team that maybe it's missing.
So we need to come over to these two machines, and you'll need to sit behind me. I'm gonna show you how to use the sewing machine. You'll notice different lines on this needle plate. Those are different guidelines. They have little numbers, which are the measurements away from the needle. You can use that to line up your stitch if you want, but it'll help you get a straight line. If you get too far this way, though, what do you think is going to happen? You're gonna go off the paper, you're not gonna have a stitch. If you start going at an angle this way, what's gonna happen? Yeah, you're just gonna stitch all the way through. All right, so your challenge is to finish cutting out your shapes, and with what remaining time we have, practice threading the machine. Before you do any stitching, have me come check that you threaded it correctly. Our students use a different number of technologies to develop their projects. As a whole school, we're a one-to-one Chromebook policy, so all of our students get a Chromebook when they come to school. That helps kind of level the playing field where they all have sort of that same technology foundation. They use that. We use a lot of Google Drive technologies, Google Documents and Slides. Our learning management system where our students hand in their work is integrated with Google. And so those are all some of the different technology pathways that they go through. In the class, we also teach like really low-tech foundational skills, like how to just lay out a shape on flat paper that you're then gonna cut and fold. And that's, you know, you think of that as like, is that high tech? No, but like learning how to use a ruler accurately, learning how to use calipers, learning how to lay something out flat and cut it out and reconstruct it with a hot glue gun. So that's like some of the different ways that they're, in this class, integrating with tech.
Now just cut it or put it on
Oh, so cool.
Shank, release. In all of our classes, there's always a huge component of research, finding what already exists, finding how it's already made. In our design thinking classes, finding, you know, articles explaining, you know, if we're doing a challenge around urban design, because, you know, there's so much information available to them that helping them develop those research questions and helping them learn how to do like good online research is a real skill. So those are some of the different tech strategies that we use.
It's a different approach here at DTech. We really put the control of what physical activities students are partaking in their own power. We offer 12 different sports, which are group teams, ranges from baseball, basketball, soccer, structured sport activities competing against other schools. And outside of that, during our intersession or our D-Lab courses, we also offer what we call the off-campus extension courses. So it could be something like rock climbing, or it could be an actual workout class that they sign up for. Throughout the course of the year, what we do is we ask that they just be active for 200 minutes a week at a minimum. This is based off of research from the American Heart Association, Center for Disease Control, for what's best for our health, how much activity. So we just find ways to document that and have them share it with their classmates.
So over here, you have the plan. And we're just literally gonna start a design sprint mini challenge so we can do this. So we're going to, Here are papers that you can like be drawing a physical layout of the atrium. We're gonna walk over to the atrium and like see the space and kind of physically see what I'm talking about and like some things that we're thinking of. What do you guys think? We're just thinking of a showcase. Like, what is needed? I have 3 ideas on the paper, but I want to have like you guys kind of come up and like just be thinking of like what else is needed. Like, what do you think would be wanted?
I think it would be really cool to organize the displays by the field of career that the internship is in, so that like people who come who are interested in healthcare, they know that the healthcare booths are over here, and people interested in food-related internships, it's over there. So they're all in the same area.
Yeah. The internship showcase is to bring together all of the internships and celebrate the students and their work, as well as kind of this dual exchange of experiences between mentors, interns, adults, faculty, potential mentors to be. And so we bring them all together to kind of have conversations about the best practices of the internship and also to see the work that they've displayed.
If we like made one long rectangle here made of the tables then and students would be inside, is that how it would work?
That could work too. Like, we don't necessarily have to be on the outside. We can be on the inside and people can just do a
Yeah, and people could walk around.
But then what about the presentation?
Yeah.
Well, the presentation will be like only around like this area. So if we had like a small rectangle on like just this half of the atrium.
Yeah. So we started a group this year within the internship program called Design Tech Intern Inc. And that group is the students who are really in charge of being the student voice of the internship program, and they just joined on, and all of a sudden we had this event to plan for. And so it was the students' kind of co-collaboration and creativity that created the layout for the space of the event. And so they designed that, and they just got together and they immediately started brainstorming, and then we went out to survey the space, and then they did some work on their own time where they made like documents, PDFs, and different kind of infographics of what the space would look like. And then we can put that into kind of an internship playbook that we want the students to kind of take ownership of and create. And then they also helped with the takedown, the cleanup. So it's always kind of like a community process in like everything we do. I get to work with Oracle quite a bit through the internship program. We have anywhere from kind of 10 to 12 interns each intersession at Oracle, and we're hoping to grow that number. And just getting to work with the Oracle Education Foundation, especially through their classes and a lot of the different kind of meetings that I have with Oracle's OEF team and their internship coordinator specifically, has been really great. So it's nice that we're closer now. I just walk instead of drive like before.
Eu tive estágio na Oracle, me ensinaram tudo sobre business. Então acho que isso foi uma das melhores oportunidades que eu já tive aqui em termos de carreira, né? Eu consegui trabalhar com uma das pessoas que fazem os eventos na Oracle. A gente cria relacionamentos com as pessoas aqui, não da escola, mas também com a Oracle, para poder continuar no futuro.
Education has been a primary focus of Oracle's philanthropy for over 20 years, and we've always focused on the same aims in the foundation, which are advancing technological fluency and technological inclusion for girls and other historically marginalized student populations who might have less access to technological learning opportunities. The way we deliver on those aims has gone through 3 major evolutions since 2000, when we set about designing a new mission program for the foundation that would engage Oracle employees in supporting students' technological education. And we determined that if we were going to engage Oracle technologists, that level of technology, that high school, secondary school, was the right place for us to engage. We we recognized something that was unlike any model that we'd ever seen before and that we felt had extraordinary promise to prepare young people for success in any field, and especially, of course, at the intersection of science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
You know, everything that we do here has an expiration date, so there's going to be a time that the way they're doing something is not going to be working next week, next month, next year. But we have a couple of design principles, and those are extreme personalization and knowledge in action. And for us, personalization means getting to know the students culturally, academically, personally, and cognitively. And cognitively means that they understand the neuroscience of how the brain works. And so we've been doing a lot of work this year just teaching teachers what the learning science says about the adolescent brain. And so once the teachers know the students in those 4 domains, then they give the students what they need. So there are a lot of ways that teachers can personalize, different levers they can pull. They can adjust the pace, they can give different formats for the assessment, they can give different choice in the assignments, they can decide if it's a small group or an individual project, and all of that is based on knowing the students because we're competency-based, so that means the students always have to hit a certain standard before they can move on to the next assignment.
So that's one thing that you'll have to update weekly. You'll still make your referrals using the same sheet, and that's how you're going to communicate to any students, hey, you should come into a, not office hour period, but you should come see me throughout the day. The referrals are still going to be referrals. You have to come during my referral period, but everything else is just more communication. So you could actually literally go down your entire roster and say something to every student if you wanted. It's not going to be quite as limited as it was before, okay? That's going to just be a communication piece. And we do really encourage that, and we'll have some forms and things that you can send out to the students where you can ask them, hey, what would you like my lab day to be like? So that way, hopefully, you're kind of customizing it in that way as well. So I'll stop questions and then we'll go to Wednesday.
I mean, we have a weekly staff meeting. That meeting is more about coming together as a community, communicating strongly, attending to changes and preparing and things like that. I think where more of the problem-solving stuff comes up is during intersession, because during intersession in the morning, all the teachers teach the design lab, but in the afternoon, all the industry experts come in and they're the teachers, so our staff actually has time for professional development. So we actually have 8 weeks of professional development, and that's where we run, different professional development sessions. We might run workshops, but we also do frequent design sprints. And so the design sprints are where the staff use design thinking to solve problems that we're seeing in the school.
What happens between that student submitting something and their revision is a pain point, because what I've observed is that students are tending to rely a lot on one-on-one tutoring and just writing to the feedback. In the English classes or maybe in the math classes, it's just like, I'm gonna do this, give me the feedback, and I'll try to change it based on this feedback. So this becomes a pain point. And this is something that I think that we can get better on if we can put something in here, if something is happening between here besides a one-on-one tutoring session.
We're in the leadership of design thinking, I think, because we just didn't give up. We knew we had great schools in our area, but we really wanted to start a school that was serving the needs of some students that weren't fitting into that typical traditional high school experience. I do think that the reason that we are in the position today is because we fail forward. We have designed some things that we see are working positively with our students and in our communities, and even with our community partners and our staff. But when something doesn't work, we're willing to stop and evaluate, and we don't just do that on ourselves. We ask the parents in our community, or we ask students, or we ask for external partners to give us feedback on how things are working as a whole, so that we really can continue to grow and make the educational experience for our students more meaningful to them and more useful in their future.
sorry. Sorry, I was a little bit late. All right, you can go first.
I'm a 4. I'm a little bummed because CCA visited yesterday and I was really excited about it. And then they talked about the summer art program, and so I want to apply, but there's no scholarships available, so I don't know how it's going to go.
Oh, really? They don't have any scholarships?
Not anymore. The deadline was a couple weeks ago, so missed it.
I'm at 8, which is fine, but then I'm really nervous about the ACT tomorrow, which I'm not looking forward to.
Where are you taking it?
Carmont.
Who else taking ACT tomorrow? Are you Carmont, taking it Carmont also? Oh, where are you taking it?
School. Where are you taking? Mills.
So we have a program called @DTech, which is an advisory class where we're with the same students for all 4 years. And we have a variety of things that we do in there. One thing we always do is we start with a check-in. So number 1 through 10, just how you're doing, and people just have a chance to talk about their day or what's on their mind. And then that's also where we push out announcements for students. So we do open session some days. And so open session is where the students write on a note card anonymously. They put it in a bucket and we read them, and the students give each other advice, empathy, or wisdom.
I have an insane amount of work to finish by mid-May. Okay, looks like many of you are in the same boat. I want to be able to have time to go out with my friends at least twice in between, but I'm worried I won't be able to. How can I get through the material faster? Any time organization tips are much appreciated.
I get stressed out when I don't know what I have to do. So maybe, I don't know if this person is struggling with this, but write down everything you have to do by mid-May, because when you see it written down, then you'll then it'll be easier, it won't be as scary, and you know where to, which things to knock down.
I would say this is adding on to what Elliot said earlier about writing stuff down. Set yourself goals, write them down, and then also give yourself rewards for doing something, so little motivations. If I'm broke or I can't go, if I don't have a reward that I can set myself, I just make a checklist with boxes, and checking something off is really satisfying, and it makes you feel good about yourself and you did something. So something as simple as that can help you get motivated.
Because every student has an advisory class or with for 4 years, so every student on the campus has one adult that they know they can regularly check in with. So every family knows that they have this one person that they can go to. And because we do parent meetings, so I've met with all the parents of my advisees. And like I said, because it's a 4-year relationship, they feel that they have an advocate and comfortable in this summer.
My aim after school is to go into engineering. I really want to pursue engineering. It's something that I've almost always known that I wanted to do. And the school is incredibly supportive. My counselors and my teachers are always there for me if I ever need to talk to them about something, or if I ever need help with, say, even a college essay. I'm writing an essay for college, and I want them to look over a sentence for me to get it perfectly. They'll sit down with me and they'll help me with it. They're really supportive in helping us achieve what we want in our futures.
We have to make our grades and our transcript look traditional and normal at the end of the 4 years so that our students can apply to college and it's easy for colleges to understand. But before it gets to that point, I think our methods are pretty different. We use competency-based learning here. We want everyone to know this, and if that takes you 1 week, great. If that takes you 2 weeks, that's okay. If it takes you 3 weeks, that's okay. The important thing is that, given the right conditions, the right circumstances, we believe every kid can achieve. So we have to make those conditions right for the student. And so that means that kids get a lot of opportunities. If the first time they take an assessment, they don't do well on it, they have a lot of opportunity to revise or relearn the skills or demonstrate those skills in a different way.
sendo muito bom, porque ela pode desenvolver aquilo que ela busca para o futuro dela, né? Então, ou seja, ela tem na técnica, não só na teoria, o que ela busca para ela, que ajuda praticamente em 50% o ingressar dela no mercado de trabalho.
Emily's had a fantastic experience here at this school. We weren't really sure if she was the right kind of student because she's not your typical technology-oriented student. She's actually much more artistically oriented, which it turns out is a perfect complement to the opportunities here. I think she's very well prepared to take on the next step.
Expõe mais a criança a desafios. Para nós tem sido até acima do que a gente jamais esperou. Jonathan recebeu o convite para conhecer os programas das melhores faculdades da América e do Canadá, incluindo Harvard, MIT, Stanford. Estamos muito felizes com o trabalho que está sendo feito com ele.
In some ways, I would love a world where we could just free schools to try lots of different things. But the reality as a parent is when I send my child to school, they only get one shot at 2nd grade, at 5th grade, at high school. So every parent wants great new models of education, and nobody wants them to be doing innovation on their own children. In the same way, we all want new medical devices, but nobody wants to be the first patient who gets them. So we have to balance this risk of trying too many things that aren't proven yet with knowing that we can't just keep doing the exact same thing. So we believe that assessment still really matters in innovative schools. We think students should still be excelling on the end-of-year exams. But if you only teach that, we are essentially preparing our students for the last generation of challenges, not the next generation. And we think with some of these new and better models that if a student could have some portion of their day where they have more independence, where they have more control and choice over what they're doing, and they have more chance to be a little more creative and take ownership, and if they leverage technology in some thoughtful ways, that will produce better outcomes for kids, and that families and parents will flock to those opportunities because they want what's coming. They know the challenges that they see in the world, and they want schools to prepare their kids for those challenges.
Uma parceria SESI, uma iniciativa da CNI, Confederação Nacional da Indústria.